I'm going to talk about data, money, and behavioral pattern. And first of all, as Richard already talked a little bit about, well, no, a little bit, no, a lot about me, but I'm going to specify some questions just to let you know why I am in this field and from which perspective I am going to talk about. As Richard said, I'm a psychologist. As a psychologist, I'm really interested in like humanity, like specifically in mind. Like behavior is something I really like, but I really like more the mind and the interaction with the behavior. I've been working in the intersection of psychology and technology since, I don't know, I think more than 15 years ago. I started with people diagnosed with schizophrenia using technology because usually during the therapy, people always use like hands and handscraft, but they were not allowed to use technology. So my focus lots of years ago was about the intersection, about, as I said, between humanity and technology. And I was really interested about why some collective didn't have access to technology. I also work with gypsies and virtual reality, focusing on creativity. So like this kind of intersection, it is like I've always, I always was interested in like, not in the data that was later, but yes, in the interaction between technology and human. After that, I made a PhD. I am a scientist. My thesis was about virtual environments and like how to create things or products on the virtual space and how to maintain that. Nowadays, we know a lot about this because of this situation, world situation, but before it was like not as much information about that. So I made like one of the first virtual ethnographies in Spain, and it was about orchestra. I think I can hear some noise. I don't know. Now it's okay. So I made my research in robotics, in artificial intelligence. I have created a robot for like mental health. So I like design all the computational model. I have developed some emotions that I think are the best for this kind of situation, for this mental health. So like everything was related about robotics, personality, and also like EEG, autonomous cars, how to combine these artificial intelligence models for a robot and also for an autonomous car and things like this, and also about technoethics. That technoethics is a super big field, and like I studied it with Roy Ascott, that it is an artist based on Plymouth, England. And technoethics is a field that is all like it's not about like technoethics, about ethics that also includes ethics, but it is about tech that is technology, and noetics that is knowledge. So it's everything related to the knowledge associated to technology, like how all the knowledge that we have created related to technology. And on the other side, I'm a digital artist, and I'm really focused on mental health and creativity, and how creativity helps mental health, also related to digital things like ATC. So with all this in mind, I would like to explain you like how behavioral patterns and data and money are all together. We have in one side like technology, and we have in other side like humanity, like behaviors. So there were a lot of questions related to if like these technologies are really taking the data, and if this data it is like okay, that if can we really use this data, like all the behaviors that we are doing with the technology are like, can we say that we can believe this data is true or not? So the focus of the beginning of all these kinds of technology
is just 80 deaths, all from very sad but can decrease. And
oops. I'm listening, like, I don't know if someone has like the micro on. Okay, maybe right now it is okay. I think I don't hear anything. Okay, thank you so much. So, like all these kinds of technologies are were at the beginning, they were focused on improving knowledge, connecting people, or improving quality of life. Like the internet was at the beginning made of this. Others say it is also related to like military. That for sure it will be true. So, but the thing is that we have created technology to make our lives easier. But the thing, it is like also regarding really focus on social networks, we are not doing this. We are doing that. We are creating like addictions, and we like the behavior that we have is not like our, like you say, our real behaviors. It is like, is the machine taking our data, or are all these social networks modifying and manipulating our behavior? So what kind of data, this is my questions, what kind of data are we measuring? This is what I say. So there is a sociologist that I really like, that is George Simmel. Other people also things like him, and other people also talk about these kinds of things, but I really like his theory. And he said that there are two worlds, the world of the objects and the world of the subjects, and that the world of the objects ran really, really, really quickly and so fast than they were at the subject that are at us. So at the end, it is like we are adapting ourselves. I'm going to move this here. We are adapting ourselves to the technology and not vice versa, as some people also said. So what is happening with that? The thing is that what behaviors and data are we measuring? Like, also, we have to take in account that we don't behave the same way when we are alone than when we are in a group. And it's so curious that the data we are collecting right now, it is like individual data that we put on a like big thing, and then we cross this kind of data. But we really don't know if this data it is okay, and if this data that we are talking and that we are measuring, that is related to our behaviors and everything like this, it is like, for what? So I was asking myself, like, why are we doing this? It's just about the money. It is like we have created one like marketing place. Yes, like it's like a supermarket but on the internet, and like the product is ourselves. And I think like you've have heard this before for sure, because there are a lot of people that is a lot until this way. So from a psychological point of view, we are much more than than the data we collect about us. And here I would like to really make some differences between the data that we collect when we use social networks or the internet, than the data we collect when we are doing a scientific study, or the data, for example, like big data applied to science, for example, regarding to, for example, oncology. In oncology, there is no one scientist in the world that could read all the papers that all of the scientists made. So in this case, for example, big data there, it is like so amazing and can cross data and can know much more information that any one of us could know. But this is not the same when we are using this to put it on a market. So some questions I was thinking about, and I was really focused, because it is like, this is the world we live as, and for sure it has a lot of good things too. So do we want to get attached to the data? This is one of the questions I would like to ask you. Do we want to give objectivity to the algorithms? If which algorithm is really has objectivity and which not? Because I think we really need to start to make a difference between what is focused on marketing and what is focused on health, for example. So if we want to do it, how we want to do it? What is our objective? Modifying our behaviors for health, or just for money? Or for both? Another question I have, it is like, would you like to sell your data? Because there is also some field that say that everything we create on the internet is us. So if everything that we create is us, would you like to get paid for your data? And my question is, if you are going to get paid, it is because, do you want to say that all of your behaviors are like, you are agree with? Or no, imagine that sometimes you want to lie. You couldn't lie if you get paid for some data that it has to be like a true fact. So this is like some questions I want to ask you. Do you think you are your data? And are you conscious about what data you produce? And would you like to be conscious? Is also another question. So my other field I really a lot working into is like EEG. EEG, I don't know if you sometimes of you for sure you will know. It is like electrostimulation that can take and measure like brain waves. So, for example, I'm working right now in a startup that is focused on moving wheelchairs, like people who can't walk. So we want to move wheelchairs with the mind, like for sure using machine learning, artificial intelligence and training. And it is not like not just Elon Musk who is in this field. A lot of companies are into this field, and a lot of companies doesn't want to put something inside the brain. We are trying to do it outside. So, for example, we have a lot of information with EEG, and we have data that can be really, really, really useful for some question. Like, for example, people who can't walk. This is, for me, this is at least this is like amazing. But this is like where you can see a little bit what is recording. But the thing I'm really interested in is like, is EEG data the next moneymaker? And if is this the next moneymaker, like for what are we going to use it? Because it is the same. Like, okay, some of the data we are measuring for sure is a part of us, but it's not the totally of us. So I think we really need to start putting this like on the table. Like, this is a part of us. It's not everything, because it's not. If not, we are going to stay like the film. I don't know. It was, I think, Tom Cruise, that some people take measures and say, okay, you're going to make a crime or you are going to do this, because we are using the data, the past data, as a predictive a way to know how it's going to be the future. And this could be okay in some fields, but I think we need to start like putting the limits about, okay, this could help this, but we are not just our past. And a lot of times we don't know also, because we like we can know a part of our conscious, but we don't know a lot of our brain. We don't know anything. It is like we just know so little. So what is the objectivity of the algorithm? This is like my question. And other thing is like, I think we were talking about a little bit when we started the meeting. Someone asked about the gene editing, and also like this. It's also the same. It is like, is gene editing another way, future, like money maker? So, and for what? Why? How are we going to using it? It is like, for sure, if you can avoid some illness, people with money are going to pay for that. And I'm not, I don't think just China is on the top. I think just like Russia for sure, because it has to be on the top in these kinds of things, and many more countries. So thank you so much. I would love that we could think about these questions, about the limit of this information related to us.
Thanks, Hema, so much. That was a wonderful talk, I think, and people must have enjoyed it. I could really relate that, we are so much surrounded by technology now, and all the time the data is getting collected, and behavioral patterns are getting collected. But we need to ask certain questions to ourselves. Basically, what is the objective behind this? Are we only looking at data monetization, marketing, or for human good? This is why technology had come into picture, isn't it? To enable people do some things that we couldn't do, and to connect socially. But now it is going into a different direction altogether. But I think we need to understand, are we the data? Are we aware how much data we produce? What is that the big techs are doing in order to process that data? How is this data stored? So there are a lot of questions we need to ask ourselves. Know the objectives, know the objectivity of the algorithms as well when we produce something. So I think this all will count whether there is going to be the correct use of data or not, or is it only for monetization? I think that is what I think, what I captured from your talk. And thank you so much. And I think I have one. Any questions? I have a question. What is the benefit having an AI in my brain, given there's already so much weird, wonderful going on in that head? From Marcus.
So good question. The thing is, it is like, as I said a little bit, like imagine you can walk. So in this like a specific thing, is like amazing having an AI that you can, or imagine that you can talk. So like technology could be really, really, really useful when we have a problem and really could solve problems. So I think like artificial intelligence could help a lot improving quality of life, if we are talking really about quality of life, not about money.
I think that's the most important part, isn't it? There's one more question. I'll quickly take it up. To what extent is sharing our data, for example, EEG, truth or fact, or just one thin slice of my fact or truth? Put another way, am I not more than my EEG?
Could you repeat it, please?
To what extent is sharing our data, EEG, truth or fact, or just one thin slice of my fact or truth? Put another way, am I not more than my EEG?
Exactly. I have it here. I think you are much more than the EEG. Also, it is like we really don't know how to interpret the data of the EEG. It is like, for example, when someone couldn't talk or when someone couldn't walk, and if we train with the machine learning and with artificial intelligence and with like the most important thing, it is like the human training. Like artificial intelligence could be super powerful, but if we don't train ourselves with the technology, we're not going to walk or to talk. So the thing is that imagine like in these situations, like okay, with the EEG measures, if we train and you talk, we really can know, okay, this technology is working because before I couldn't talk, and now with this recording I can talk. Or before I couldn't walk, but now after using artificial intelligence with this data and training that, we can walk. But the thing is like that there are a lot of things of our mind that we cannot prove. So for sure, like doesn't matter that we collect a lot of data, that if we really cannot interpret this data, it is like no, for what? So for me, this is really interesting, like in specifically things, like solving specific problems, not like the AG, like the people are going to trying to learn how it works, like the artificial general intelligence. I think artificial intelligence works really well on specific things, not like big things.
Thanks so much, Emma. There's, I think, more questions coming in. Will we see inequality in personalized medicines?
Will
we see inequality in personalized medicines?
Well, the thing it is that every technology that comes to the market at the beginning is inequality, always. So for sure, I think at the beginning it will be like for this reason. I really like some scientists and their research focus on solving problems, because at the end it is like you reduce the gap, don't increase it. If you are always thinking about superhumans, and that is okay for some people for sure, but in this way you are increasing.
Thank you so much, Emma. There's a couple more questions. I'll take in one from Tim. If my data becomes a currency and those who can will protect theirs, while those who can't will not be able to afford to, will we run into data bias issues?
Yeah, for sure, we are going to go into data bias issues, because the thing it is like we are. This is what I was talking about. Like, are we focused on health, or are we focused on money? If we are focused on money, it's not going to work. Other thing is like that we create health product that cost money, because we live in a capitalism world and everything is related to money. So for sure, but maybe like it could be like I don't know, like social things that I don't know, governments or things like this could really use for helping people, not just some part of the population.
Thanks, Emma. There's just one more question as well. To implement precision medicine, fundamental changes need to be made to infrastructure and mechanism of data collection, storage, and sharing. Who will spend all this money? What do you think?
In my opinion, it is like, I think like the big tech companies are the ones who are going to invest in this, like the millionaires, not like the public things. Like what I've seen, it is like, or at least what I know, that people who is interested in our startups regarding to that are millionaires. So people who has a lot of money, and they really like want to invest on that. So this is why I think it's really important that we already know that we are much more than what the big tech said about us. This is a part of us that, as I say, is also manipulated.
Mm. Yes, totally. I think I agree with you on that one. There's one more question. Healthcare has a lack of diversity, barriers to access by many minorities, biases, etc. How can that be mitigated?
Like, at least in my opinion, or what I try to do is like doing my own research focus on this. Like, for example, if I have to choose to do like EEG for, I don't know, trying to open and close the lights with my mind, for well, this will be okay for people that can move, by the way, so this is not a good but for making, for example, if I have to choose between making children with blue eyes and blonde and blah 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 blah, or I have to choose into making arms for people who has lost their arm, I'm going into this way. So at least into this way, I know that some people that really needs is going to be benefited about that. But however, science is also like so amazing that sometimes you are focused on one thing, and with this thing you can help really a lot of people. Like, for example, I don't know, how do you say, like do you know, like the thing that we use, how it's called, I don't know the name in English, the thing when we drink Coca-Cola and these kinds of things, and we have something like, what's the name
The
of this?
straw, the straw.
Yeah, so the straw at the beginning, it was created for people who can't use the hands. And at the end it becomes like a product that we all use. But the thing is that the intention was to solve a problem. So I think that if we always focus on solve a problem, we are helping. This is, in my opinion, the only thing we can do.
Thanks, Emma. That was an interesting example, I must say. Last one I will take up, I think, and then I'll leave you to the chat to answer rest of the questions because we move on to the next speaker. If and when such a massive amount of data is collected, isn't it legally unclear who owns the data?
No, the thing is that there is like a hole on these kinds of things. Like, for example, I already know that Facebook was really bad. Well, what they really had to pay to pay, because they were the first company that, like, with Cambridge Analytics and all these kinds of things, that like passed the limit. Like the first publics, at least. We don't know if there were someone before, but and they already, by the way, they have our data. So I think, like, it is like George Simmel said, like, technology go faster than us, and at the end we adapt to technology when it's already made. So for this reason, it is like, okay, now that we know that we have a lot of data, I think we have to be conscious. I think we could, like, some pages that ask everything about us, we can say, okay, no. So I think, like, I think it's not fair that as a consumers we have to do all the thing, because I think this is a legal thing. That really the governments, and not just the government, because I think this is a global thing. It is like big techs are earning a lot of money because of us. So what can we do? At least being conscious and also being together. It is like I like being together and making like connection between us, and knowing about this and knowing how it works, how technology works. I think is the most important thing, because if not, we are going to like to believe some things that big tech said, and that's not fair.
I think that's great. There are few questions I think on the chat. If you want, I can pick up one of them now if we can quickly do it. What are the observed psychological effects of EEG? Would you like to add something to it? It's your favorite topic, I think.
Yeah, I like it. But the psychological effects of
EEG.
But I don't think like just the measuring the data, like on a psychological way, it is like it is like just a few parts of what we are. It is like, okay, now with technology we can know, okay, alpha, gamma, theta, and blah blah, and all our brainwaves go like this and go like this. Okay, so we put an algorithm and we are going to train, and we are going to see what if I think of moving this ball, how my brain behaves. So you can really see that, but we don't have technology enough to know what is really happening. Like we are cows as regarding to psychology. We are not just like, we cannot measure all the things we are right now. We can measure our I don't know, our heartbeat. We can measure like some things, but our brain, we don't know anything.
Definitely, Hema. I think wonderful. I think people have sent out really good questions, I might say, and I'll leave you to the chat, and I'll be inviting Richard now to call upon the next speaker. Thanks, Hema. I think it is really wonderful talk.
Thank you so much.